Nice shot.
Raredy GL today.
Hello, friends. Hi, Brucey, hi, Uro, hi, Damiyoshi, Zorketh, J-Tux, Didi. Thank you for the sub, Didi. What up, Ostric? What up, Gabu? What up, Data Meets World? I am not feeling great, but we're going to get through this. We are going to get through this. Okay. Yes, I have been sick. Today I feel pretty bad. Okay. I gotta eat some food while I can. Okay. No, I'm not life-threatening. This is a bad cold. No, I'll live. Hello, friends on YouTube. Okay.
No, no, no. Wrong way.
Okay. Let's see. The match is starting in about 10 minutes. All right. Chad, I will have to turn off my mic and my alerts. Just letting you know. I'm just trying to eat this as fast as I can. Is Sponge an underdog? Sponge isn't in this tournament. Depends on the context. There's a restream. Oath is doing a comms today. Do you think Samus gets muscle cramps from sprinting so much? Yes. But she powers through them. Hope the sickness doesn't win. Same here. It has been a rough day. But we will come out of this with the dub. Okay. Yep, it's the balanced ammo charity. Atomic Alcoon waiver. Atomic. Alright. Alright, chat. Oh. Would you say Techno is an underdog? I think I'm favored over Techno, but Techno upset Ralix, and I debatably upsetted Aussie, kind of close. So it's hard to say. I think most would agree that Techno's probably an underdog, but he could 2-0 me. He could definitely 2-0 me. In one best of 3 series, who knows what can happen. Hello, friends. Alright, chat. I'm gonna power through this. I was gonna take today off. I feel pretty bad. I don't feel great. But we're gonna power through this one, okay? Oats is on comms. I think there's a restream on twitch.tv/speedgaming. Oats should be doing comms today, so if you want to watch that, you can do that. But, you know, if you want the no delay, then you gotta watch this. Techno's readied up, so I think I'm gonna also ready up. And that means I'm gonna hide my alerts and hide you guys, okay? Alright, friends. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Wish me luck. And I'm gonna hide and mute you all.
You GG's. You go off to face Mo for third place, and Techno will be facing Nido. How do you feel about that one? Or Nitro. Nido, Nitro, same thing. You're facing Nitro. Sorry. How do you feel?
I mean, I've beaten before. I can beat him again.
Oh, there's
also
the confidence.
No, I'm probably getting absolutely demolished. This was lucking out. Thanks to
all I'll say is don't watch it
biology.
back because I compliment you both. So I don't want you guys' heads going to the moon. But
to explode.
yeah. But you're playing very well. So I think if you play this well again, I don't think you will have any problem taking on Nitro. He likes to play. He's probably the most passive player in the entire lobby. You know, whenever we were playing. So I think you got him.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't feel like I played particularly bad, but you have to have played. I don't think the seeds were fairly straightforward, right? And the seed can't be played in a way where you're gonna get crushed, right? But either way, it's like you have to play at a certain level of standard. You have to play at a certain standard to, I think, beat me here anyway. So it's like, you know, it's not like I like threw or anything. It's just my route might have not been perfect, but you do have to play to a certain standard to beat me here, I think. So, GG, dude.
GG.
Well, I think that just about wraps it up. GG to you both. And yeah, thank you, Luna, for tracking. And I look forward to the next matches coming up. So we'll see how those go. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Appreciate it very much. And we will see you for the next couple races.
All right. GG. Okay. I kind of want to see the map of the first game. I want to see. I kind of want to see the map of the first game. See how it worked out. Because it looks like he was able to hit up a connection. Maybe I can download it again, and then I'm gonna sign off. I'm pretty tired. Yeah, I feel like I played fine. I didn't play like super strong. But like I played enough. I played well enough, but you know, Techno played well. So he took me out here. I do want to see what he did exactly though. Because it looks like he took a little bit of a risk and then it paid off really well in the game one. This one, if I had avoided the this Meridian map, I think I could have taken it. This was pretty slow. This might have been enough. It would have been really close. You can't avoid I mean, it just depends, right? Like, cause, what is that? My last boss is in Turian, right? Was it Turian? Is it here? Brinstar. Yeah, Brinstar had my last boss, right? So it's just a matter of if I chose not to take this little loop. Cause yeah, basically if I just chose not to do this, like I know Nevdi's not gonna do this, right? I went into Bryn, and then if I just chose to get the map, it would have been fine. Instead, I chose to see if there's an easier map. But if I don't do that, then I save time. Like, I know Nevdi would commit to just doing Bryn here. And I think that's fine. Because, like, Bryn has a high chance of having something I need. So you could argue that there's no point in doing Meridia. Because when there's this much... You could see, because you see how all these saves are scattered? Like, the odds of, like, a boss being here is so high. That, like, you could argue just, like, you might as well just do it. Exactly. So I felt fine checking Meridia, but I don't think it's particularly good to do one over the other when you know there's a good chance you have to do this. I think it's kind of like, I just, the way that I play, I just tend to see if I can get a faster map. Because I think the other argument also is that, like, if I had a crappy loadout, then I prefer doing what I did. Because then it's like, okay, the less I have to blind while having, like, a crappy loadout, the better. But we had everything. We were maxed out, right? So it's whatever. I think it's just kind of you pick whatever you want to do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Once I saw, I thought about it for a second, like, what did I want to, like, how did I want to, like, do this? You kind of have to do it, but once I saw that there was, like, I have to go this way, like, this far, I was like, it's not as good as, you know, it looks close, but I knew that we had to go this way. And then especially when I saw this room, I'm like, oh, God. At that point, it's like, I might as well have just stayed in there. But that's obviously being results-oriented. It's not like I knew that. So, yeah. I think I would have maybe been able to eke out a win if I did that. I probably would have eked out like a really close win right there. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing I could do at that point. I just have to do it. So did Techno choose to abandon Dre here? That's what it sounds like, right? He abandoned Dre to come back later. I'm a little surprised by that. Oh, no, he did wreck ship, right? He did wreck ship. Wow, he didn't. Why didn't he do criteria here? Ah, he did. Okay. Wow. Okay. I wonder if he was worried about the Dre fight or something. I mean, I got a quick 2-round on Dre. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he chose to do Bryn. That's a little surprising. This route works out a little bit better, huh? Is it even better? It seems really similar. I don't even know how much better it is. It seems like very similar. It was just one tank? Yeah. The thing is, we also have like a lot of supers at that point, so it shouldn't be that concerning. Yeah. You think I would have lost Seed 1? I was going to lose Seed 1 no matter what, just because of the routing. There was 2 things that happened in Seed 1. Okay, you know what? I need to rewatch it because people were saying that because I had 5 bajillion tanks, right? Did Techno also have that many tanks? I was playing it a little bit like safe. Like I was prepping the tanks to recover my health, but it ended up being like, let me see how many came out with this. I'm just want to quickly review. Yeah, my approach was to just let him beat me both games. Let me see game 1. Oh man, he had way more tanks than me. Oh, he was way out of there. Oh my god, he got there so fast. Did he skip all these things? Hold on, let me see. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. So he chose to not collect all the majors. He just kind of like left them alone and then went to wreck ship fast. And then he got Varia because of it. Yeah, I see what happened. So the way I played this is like, I looked at all the majors on the screen. And I kind of like thought about it a little bit. I'm like, I can collect all this stuff, right? I just need a little bit of health. I think he kind of like left all of this stuff and then went up to wreck ship first because he wanted to go and get this. But I feel like that's... Because you can go to wreck ship and then like, you might need the equipment, right? But he kind of like immediately went up there with nothing. Yeah, so I wanted to collect. Yeah, I wanted to collect like these two before going up. Yeah, I see. Basically, like this early game is like a collection spree, right? So like I knew I can get this and this, so I grabbed this tank to help me with that. But I think he basically like just went really fast to wreck ship. Yeah, he went up here 6 minutes. Let me see here. Wait, did he reset going up there? What happened here? He went up there and then peaced out? Oh, no, yeah, he went... No, he's in Turian. Where am I? No, 6 minutes doesn't make sense. Okay, so we went here. Oh, feeling bad. Oh, he didn't even have supers going up here? Oh, yeah, so he didn't even... let me see what he checks the map. I want to see what his map looks like. God, this ends up working out really well for him. Oh, man. Like, because he can't get that major either. Yeah. So like I got like this early game goes so fast for him. So like I collected this, and then on my way back down to get this, I collected this as well. And then I got that major, which he skipped. And then he missed a super, huh? It looks like he didn't get a super somewhere. But yeah. Basically, he went straight and got Varia instantly. I think I had 6 tanks by the time I got Varia. Yeah, I got like 6 tanks by the time he had I got this. Looks like he collected some on the way. Okay, so then he got the supers here. Oh man, I'm surprised. The supers were here, but he didn't even pick up the supers for one wreck ship. That's kind of crazy. Because this is free. Yeah. Yeah, so then I collected all this stuff. I collected the wreck ship major that he was like, I can't do that. He abandoned the wreck ship major. He doesn't need it at this point. So like, this major that I'm going for, he had to abandon it because he didn't have the means to get it, and then he chose to leave it at that point. Because at that point he has double suit. One major is not that big of a deal. I don't know. It says he has a spazer, so he did get it. Oh yeah, because he got the Varia and then he went back up and collected it, right? Yeah. And then he went back up and collected it. Wait, did he? He went this way. Okay, so he did collect it. God, so when did he enter Bryn? He got here so much faster. Okay. Bryn at 1545. Oh man, it's not even close. I'm at a different Bryn entrance. 7 minutes later than him. 6 minutes later. That's not even close. He didn't kill Kraid? Wait, hold on. Where was Kraid? What? What did the map look like? Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I'm surprised he didn't kill Kraid. Actually, that's fine. I'm actually a little surprised he doesn't kill Kraid here. It's mostly time neutral. It doesn't really matter. It's like ever so slightly faster, I think. Like it's like 10 seconds faster probably. Okay, so 18. So that the crate kill accounts for about 1 minute and 40 seconds. A little under 2 minutes. So I'm in Bryn 3 minutes slower than him. But I'm in a different entrance as well. Oh, it's super locked. Oh, so he didn't do it. Okay, I was gonna say, like, I guess it's not a big deal. It actually isn't, because Mother Brain's right there. So it's like, it just says like 10 seconds. So it actually isn't a big deal. He overlooked the supers, though. I think him overlooking the supers got him the Varia suit, which was kind of sick. So, because I think it stopped him from doing some things. Because when you get funneled into the Varia suit, you don't have to worry about... There wasn't much else he could do, right? So he just went for the stuff that he could do. But it looks like he, right here, he has to go left right here. And get the there's super missiles right there. And he kind of just went up instead. Huh. I went through the heat like over here and I collected this, then I collected like this tank. But he just went, he got this and then went straight here. Oh, this is really nice. So he got this tank too. But he had Varia for all this, so he didn't have to like refill or anything. This section right here, when he got this major, this charge, I had to like farm for this a few times. Yeah. And then this, I had to farm for this as well. Okay. I did die, but that was not... That's what, like a minute and a half? A minute? Because I had the save. This death was like really fast, right? Let me see. 12:02. 40 seconds. It's not that bad. Well, no, this death is 40 seconds. I lost by more than that. Right, 12:02 right there is where I died. 12:02, boom. And then I'm back here again at literally 43 seconds later. Game 1 I lost by more than that. The big thing I think is I'm 3 minutes behind him entering Brinstar. That's the time loss. That's the main time loss. It's because of routing. We got Varia faster than me by a lot. I think that results in a lot of time loss. Okay, but I want to see this routing. So like this ends up being... Huh, so he bailed on this, huh? I don't think going back to Brinstar... are you talking about me? Let's talk about this real quick. Yeah, so he chose to go back into Bryn, right? So let's see here. I want to see if I agree with his play here. Okay, so he went here. Did this. Oh, so he already went to Big Pink and then reset. Where's he going? What the heck? Why is he going top left? Wait, so he did a revert? Oh, so at some point he was just like, screw this, I leave. Man, why is he going left? Is this that big of a deal? Oh, he gave up. He actually gave up here. Oh man, he actually left. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very surprised he did this. It does not have to connect. Well, that's really risky. I don't know if I would do that, personally. I like how he's already leaving Bryn as I enter Bryn in the first place. He's so far ahead. You do have to kill Fantoon, that is true. And because this pivot is at the Bryn entrance, that's probably fine. I think that's reasonable, actually. It's probably good. It connecting works out really well though. Yeah, given that we've made like literally no progression towards the map right here at this point, it does seem pretty good. The only way you get punished is like fairly unlikely. It's if the game. Yeah, given that our pivot save is still at the entrance of Meridia, I think going back is actually good. I think that's a fine play. Does he have to do criteria here? Oh, he does have to do criteria. Oh, but he doesn't get punished. It's fast. I actually think I like what he did here. I like him actually abandoning the Meridia play and going to Bryn. Given that the structure works out, I think that's fine. Do I like it? I'm not sure actually. I'm trying to think. It's probably fine. So does this not work out for me then? Does this not work out for me then? How does this not work out for me? Oh, we have the map at the exact same time. That's funny. Yo, Tarsik, thanks for the gifts up to Oats. So the main reason, yeah, I skip Norfair here is because the final boss is Dre, right? So I thought about this, like once we get back after killing Ridley, right? This is sort of the pivot point. Yeah, this is like the pivot, right? Because once I go up this elevator, I can choose to go this way or I can go to Brinstar, right? I think for the most part, you always just want to go to Brinstar because going to Norfair, there's like a chance there's Dragon there. You're playing for the chance of Dragon, which is the only thing, right? So it's like the value of going to explore Bryn is just so much higher than Norfair. So even all things considered, you want to go to Bryn because you want to get the Fantoon map because you have to do it no matter what. But I was closer to Norfair, so I was thinking about like, do I want to do Norfair because I'm closer to it? But then I realized like, it doesn't really matter because like, Mother Brain's over here and Fantoon's over here. So it's like, on my way back, I have to pass here anyway. So even if Dre's over here, I don't really even lose that much time. It's just the traversal of these rooms right here, right? So I was just like, oh. There's no way to like actually lose that much time. Whereas like going to Norfair could be devastatingly bad. Well, the difference is Meridia has Ridley. I think there's a difference between one boss outstanding and two bosses outstanding. The odds of the game finishing in Brinstar feels a little low. If that makes sense, right? But I actually do think going back to Bryn after you kind of dead end at this point and you know that the map takes this long to get to, I actually think that's good. So I think I like Techno's play. I think I like it. I'm not sure. I think I like it. Only because your pivot save, of all the traversal that we did all this exploration. And in the end, the pivot save still is right next to the entrance. So you might as well just leave and go do Bryn. I think I like that better. I think I like what he did better. Yeah. I also think for sure, like, I have to skip Norfair. I think I have to skip Norfair, right? Because when I know Fantoon's in Bryn. I know where Mother Brain is, and I don't know where Dre is. I think it's definitely a mistake to go to Norfair in my position. That's what Techno did. I don't think I would check the left side. I feel like that's a mistake. I don't know why he was checking this spot. If he's trying to blind a new zone, I don't like that play. I feel like that's weird. I think what he did blind some of this, which I don't like. I think what makes sense is if this dead ends, and then this dead ends. I think it just makes sense to then immediately go to Fantoon. I think that's the best play, personally, after I review this. I think me go to Meridia is a little bit worse. Me going for the map is worse, a little bit. We didn't really do that much of Brinstar. I think there was a lot of Brinstar I had not seen. Right? There's still a lot remaining in Brinstar. Let me see. Like, Brinstar has a really high chance of having Dre. Yeah. Like, this is pretty big, right? If you can see. Hold on, let me minimize. There's like a pretty good chance. But yeah, the way that I see it is that at the end of the day, like, right, at the end of the day, it's like, in the process of getting this map, and once I get this map, there's a really good chance that Dre's just in here, right? Where are the saves? There was a cracked save. We knew that this was Fantoon. I don't know if... Let me double check. We knew this was Fantoon. I think we found the save in the very beginning. It was like the first thing we found was a broken save, so we knew Fantoon was here. No. Let me. We knew this was. We knew this was Fantoon. We knew it was. It was like the first thing we found, so we knew from the start. Yeah, right here. So like look at this, right? Like, this is the world. It kind of looks like there's a good chance that Dre's here. Oh, well, what are you saying? Sorry, what are you saying? I really don't think Norfair is ever the play. I feel like that's very incorrect, in my opinion. Oh, I don't think it's smaller though, just because we can see how, right? When like it just this looks pretty big to me, right? Like for all we know, there's a lot of stuff there. But either way, I don't think it really matters because like the path back to Ridley is very fast, right? Yeah, we can't see the ship save. I do think Norfair is a mistake, though. I think I would argue Norfair. I'm fairly confident Norfair would be a mistake. I would be... I really do feel Norfair... Because I think the biggest thing, though, ultimately comes down to, like, the concept of, like... If Norfair was, like, if Norfair was right next to me, and there was no way... Like, I had to, like... then journey on far back to then abandon Norfair. I will never go back to Norfair again. Then I think you might have to peek it. At least peek it is how I feel. You would have checked N. I think N is a mistake. I do think N is a mistake. I am very confident in saying that. Fortunately, regardless of, the fact that it worked out for me, I do think even if, the boss was there, I would die on the hill, right? Because we have two bosses left. We have Phantoon and Dre, right? And then getting back into Norfair should be easy because, all you have to do is, because the way back to Mother Brain, you pass by this juncture again, so it's easy to get back to Norfair. Because of the one-way save. Oh, what are you talking about here? Oh, are you saying that if I had not known that Phantoon was in Bryn, then I have to go to Norfair? Because if that's what you're saying, then the answer is 1000% yes. If I didn't know Phantoon was in Bryn, you never go to Bryn here. You go to Norfair 100%. For sure. For sure. That's not even close. Then you have to go to Norfair. IMO. I don't even think it's IMO. I think that's just like, you can't really argue that. Closer to NC. Oh, are you talking about not going back to Britain right away in the Meridia thing? The Meridia situation? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, now I know what you're saying. I do think that, so if we're talking about we should have went back to Bryn, then yeah, that's why I'm saying I think we should. That's why I was saying I think I like that play better. I think I like going back to Bryn. I think it's good to check. I think it's good to check, I think at where I am at this point, I think everything I did was fine. But like, I think the moment that you realize you have to go this way to get to the map, I think that's when going back to Bryn is the best play. I would agree with that statement. Yeah. Which is kind of funny, right? Because like, it just kind of looks like it won't be that bad. But then it's like, then you have to do this. It looks fine. It looks completely fine. But yeah, I agree. I think going back to Bryn is the right play. I think it's the right play for a few reasons, actually. I think with the depth, with depth, it also makes sense to. Because I think given where the map is in Brinstar, you do know that there's a good chance that the Norfair connection is to the right at that point. You don't really know that until later, but once you kind of like see what's going on here, you have a much better idea that that's the case. Yeah. The best play is after you flesh out Big Pink is to then immediately go back and go for this map. That's for sure. What Techno did. Techno blinded a little bit to the left, which I think is a little weird. I personally don't like that, I think. I mean, maybe I can understand that if he's trying to get to the map like this, but I don't know. If he's trying to, like, get a connection to the map like this. I guess I could see that. I just don't know if I'm a fan of that. No, he was trying to get to the Bryn map. I think that's... I don't really like that. Like, if it connects, it's a big win, but it just feels... I don't know what the odds of it connecting are, but I don't feel like it's, like, crazy high. You know what I mean? Top left, a big pink. I mean, are you trying? You mean you're trying to get into the connection back into Brinstar? I would rather go back through Amphitheater and take the way that is guaranteed. Personally, I don't think I'd like to blind the connection. I do think that leaving and going back to Brinstar is the play, for sure. The realistic truth, though, is that, like, okay, so his route ends up being a lot better than mine. But the realistic truth is... I think I could have still beaten him if, well, let me see. How far was I? He was so far ahead of me in the early game. He had a 3 minute, it would have been close. Even with my worst route, I think I could have done it. How long was this escape actually? I'm trying to see if I could have still done it. I think I could have still beaten him if the early game just, we had a similar early game. The way that he played the early game was a little sketchy, I think. Like, he could have gotten burned really badly. But he got funneled directly into Varia, so then he saved a lot of time. Like, cause he like skipped that super, right? He got funneled directly into here, which is like really, I think that's the bigger, the routing thing I think actually doesn't account as much as the early game spot. See, it was a time loss. Yeah, exactly. C was pretty quick. Because of C, that makes it so that that's the reason why my route ends up being kind of okay, because I get a refund on that. Which is why I think that regardless of the route, I do agree his route is better. And that seems like the biggest deciding factor, but I think the biggest deciding factor was the early game. The early game was a very big difference. He died. Techno died in the early game, did he? I died. I died in the early game. Me dying was a 40-second time loss. I don't know if Oates was saying that was like a big deal to other people, but me dying there was not a big deal. Yeah, it was 40 seconds. I literally had a save. I just went through, I died, and I did it again. It's a time loss, but like, right, it's not that big of a deal. I just did exactly what I was gonna do regardless, because I know that wasn't a big death. Right? Both that. Wait, so Techno did die? He died? Where did he die? Yeah, yeah, but the big thing that kind of comes down to is a few things here, like the super is a kind of a big thing. He definitely overlooked that. Skipping this is by skipping that. He ends up by skipping that, he goes directly into here. He goes up around and goes straight into Varia. And then all these things that we had to collect that had heat, he didn't have to farm for them all. I had to refarm like a lot. And so that accounts for like 3 minutes or something like that, I think. Cause I thought it was like 5 minutes at first, but we found out it's cause I had the Kraid kill. So it's about 3 minutes. And then game 2 is just a matter of routing choice. Game 2 is a routing choice thing. But either way, like my time losses that I took are sort of like he has to play to a certain level or else he still won't beat me. You know what I mean? Game 2 is a flippy match. I think game 2 is fine. Yeah, game 2 is fine. I think debatably I probably played better game 2. I feel like I actually think he played he overlooked the super in game 1 and it looks like he got really, that saved him a lot of time. But then I would argue that he made the better choice mid-game by going back into Brinstar. I think that's better than what I did. Now, is it fair that missing the supers caused him to save time? I mean, probably not, but like he did play the routing mid-game better. So, how did we both play overall, regardless of result? His early game, I think, was probably a little sketchy. But he got rewarded for it. And then my mid game was, I think his mid game was better than mine. And then I got punished for it a little bit. So yeah, I mean, whatever, right? And then the game 2, I don't know if I'd agree with his play. I think I played fine game 2. I think the one thing in game 2 is like, I think I played fine game 2. Game 2, I kind of feel like maybe I played better than he did. But I think his route ends up being better. But it's not a big deal. It's like, and by the way, this is all like close enough where it's not like, oh, I played way better or I played way worse. It's like close enough, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, there's a lot more that goes into it than just that. There's so many more factors. It's never as simple as, like, you go one way or you go another, right? There's so many factors that will make you choose a decision. And at the end of the day, it's like, sometimes it's just like, one just crushes another. But then there's a lot of different factors that slightly influence you to make different choices, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like, the one talk of me going into Norfa or Bryn, you know, it was like pretty clear what I had to do. But Techno didn't have to deal with that situation, obviously, right? Middle of the world, saw RNG starting to north enter C. Not necessarily. I wouldn't agree with that because it depends. If you have double suit, and everything at the start of the game, then sure. But otherwise, not that often. That's too much of a simplification to say it that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that you say it and it sounds right, but it's like way too simple of a way to think about it. Yeah, right. Because sometimes you start in the middle and you don't even have a choice. You just have to go into one direction. That probably happens like 80% of the time. So then we take the situations where it's like, okay, how about some of the times where you just find double suit and you can go up or down? Well, then sometimes one spot is just really close to you, so nobody would go to the other, right? So then of those like 20% remaining, it's pretty clear what you do in one of the others. So you have to be specifically in the middle of the world. You have to have... It has to be the same distance from up or down. And then you need like a very specific, you need a loadout that makes you feel indifferent between the two. Then it's like, then it becomes a 50-50. But it doesn't really happen as much as it seems. Yeah. Yeah, the way that you're saying it, Didi, I think is just, what's the best way to put it? To me, it kind of sounds like you're saying like, well, basketball is so easy. All you have to do is put the ball in the hoop. You know? I feel like it's just like an oversimplification to say it that way. You know what I mean? It's like, there's just like, sometimes it's like simple, but like most of the time it's like, you know. Yeah, it's more complex than that, usually. It usually just ends up being more complex than that. Yeah, I know. I think if you play, it would make more sense. Yeah. Like, there are some situations, like, you know, like this, you could say it's a little bit like that. Techno chose to go to Bryn and Meridia, and I guess that ends up being the faster route. I chose to go to Wreck Ship. I would say the majority of people go to Wreck Ship here. And you can kind of say, like, okay, maybe Techno won the 50-50 by going down. I don't even know how much time it saves if he goes to Donut. It doesn't, like, off the top of my head, it doesn't seem right, but apparently the route back is better. I still don't fully see that, but, like, apparently that was the case. But yeah, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's more complicated. The scoreboard will say 2-0, but there's more to it than that, right? It's in the same way the scoreboard says I 2-0'd Aussie, but like, there's more to it than that. Game 1 was similar to what Techno did to me in Game 1 for this one. I don't think I did anything wrong per se in Game 1, but like, Game 1 basically I just picked the right door in a hell run. And Aussie did not pick the right door, and that just led me to complete the game. And Aussie last location's that door. And it's like, because we had heat. But otherwise it's all pretty, you know. At the end of the day, at the high level, at this like high of a level, right? If Techno were to go down and I would go to right, and I go to Wreck Ship here, it sort of is like a little bit of a coin flip. Because he's good enough where if like both routes work, it is kind of like gonna be like whichever route is better. But like the thing is, if you put someone that's like a lot weaker than him, then even if the bottom route is better, they're probably still not gonna beat me, if that makes sense. So you have to be at least, you have to be good enough to make, if routes are similar but maybe one's a little bit better, you do still have to be at play at a certain level, otherwise you still won't beat me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, he played well. I think his game 1, he played fine. I made a mistake. I think he made a mistake in the early game, but I think he also out-routed me in the mid game, right? And then I do think that the early game mistake that he made saved him actually saved him time. So there's that aspect to it. But like he also outrouted me in the mid game, and that him outrouting me there could have resulted in me losing by 10 minutes. Maybe it should have. It probably should have been more important than. I think his mid game choice, though it didn't like save him an insane amount of time. The early game mistake he made, it saved him time, but I think his mid game choice should have probably saved him more time. So I think he probably deserves to win game 1, and not for the reasons why it might seem. And then the game 2, I think maybe I should have won this one, but it doesn't really matter. Minute 2 in game 1. Minute 2 in game 1, we don't have supers, and there's a lot of majors. And there's a lot of heat behind the majors, so you have to plan out how you're going to collect those majors with the heat. Techno just kind of didn't. He just chose to go to wreck ship, and then he spiked Varia, so you didn't have to think about that. If that makes sense. I think that's why he ended up saving a lot of time. Does that make sense? That's why I'm saying the early game choice, he saved a lot of time. But I also think that his route was better. So we can see in this instance, let me show you. There's like this major, but you have to go through all this heat, right? You see this heat, right? Then there's this major right here. You have to go through some heat. So then I'm thinking like, do I have to get this tank? Which I did end up getting, right? I'm also thinking, do I want to get this tank? Which I did earlier. So I'm thinking about like, how am I going to collect these tanks to get through these efficiently? And then where can I farm? Because there aren't really that great farms. So I was thinking, okay, I want to collect all this stuff before I commit to going into wreck ship. But Techno went to wreck ship right away, and then he went back down, and then he got Varia over here. Then he got all these without having to plan it out. It was, yeah, you had to think about Morph, but it was fine. You just had to think about it for a little bit. It was in a little bit of a surprising spot. Okay. Oh man, I don't feel great. Okay. Alright, chat, I'm rating Techno. I think he's still racing with Oats. Let me double check. Alright. Peace out, friends. Love you all. I need to go relax. Goodbye.